Today I'd like to talk about my electric snowmobile. It started out as a 1980 Yamaha SS440. What I'd like to do is explain the snowmobile in three separate videos. The first is the controls, followed by under hood, and lastly do just a brief demo drive to explain the functionality. In the center is the master switch to turn the power on. Some electric machines do not have that. I find it a convenient item to have to isolate the battery power from the system before I start working on it. I also have a switch for the negative side, and I'll explain that in a minute. Looking on the lower right here is the instrument panel. I have two switches, one for the battery heater and one for the lights. Ignition switch to power on the system after the master is activated. Then I have a forward reverse switch that I can use for directional control. At the bottom is a temperature gauge that allows me to monitor the temperature of the battery. So with that, I'm going to turn the ignition on, and you can see the green light comes on. It's in forward gear. I don't know if it shows up, but the battery's currently at 17.2 degrees centigrade, so it's plenty warm enough to drive. At the top here are two instruments. On the left is the GPS speedometer and odometer. Then on the right is my electrical gauge. It gives me all the critical information from an electrical standpoint: the battery voltage, how much current the system's drawing, the amp hours, and the kilowatt hours. Those latter two I can reset to 0, so I can monitor each charge of the battery system. On the lower left is a range switch that I've installed. It has three positions. One is through the battery management system, which is the normal position. If I'm riding down the trail, and I run out of battery power, I can put it on reserve. It goes around the BMS system and allows me to get back to home base. You have to be careful not to go too far, but it does allow me to make that return trip. I also am able to put that switch in a position that completely disconnects the negative side of the battery from the system.